What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back with another episode of Culture Minute. We got some hot topics for you guys. Y'all already know what it is. I'm Gentel, Sharrie.
I am Sarina, Renee, the one-stop shop.
It's your boy, King Jaquel Martin, director, actor, motivational speaker. Yeah.
So the month of May is very special, and it's special for one particular reason: the mothers. As you guys know, Mother's Day is in the month of May, and we would like to celebrate and just say a couple like special words for the mothers out there. I know without any of us on this planet, like in this world, besides, God and Jesus, we would not be here if it wasn't for the mothers. So I appreciate all the mothers out there who have been a rock for their kids, their family, their cousins, their sisters, their brothers, just all, etc. I want to give a special shout out to my mom for always being there for me. And then just keep on being special to us, because a lot of people can't do life without their mothers. So I appreciate the mothers in the world and keep on blessing us.
Yeah, so I want to say happy Mother's Day to my adopted mom, who's also is my godmother. Because of her, I am who I am today. She showed me how to be not only a strong, independent woman, she also showed me how to be an entrepreneur. She showed me how to be a woman overall. She showed me how to walk into rooms and be confident enough that people see the confidence before I even open my mouth. She instilled the foundation of God, and everything that you see is a product of everything that she instilled in me. And it's crazy because I still feel like, although I know that I'm a good mother, and my daughter tell you I'm a good mother, I just feel like I have not exceeded her expectations or mirrored how much of a mom she was to both myself and my god sisters. I also want to say, happy Mother's Day to my sisters on my mom's side, my godmother's side, and my dad's side. I have a really good family. And, all the mothers out there that don't have kids, but you've been mentors to so many people out there. Happy Mother's Day to you too. And last but not least, I want to shout out myself because I did the damn thing. You
did. Happy Mother's Day, Sarina, because you are a great mom. You be pushing your daughter. You get her here. I mean, as soon as y'all hit the ground running, like, not only are you doing your stuff for you, but you're making sure your daughter is good too. And not only just bringing her up, but making sure she has a career, a good career, well-respected career in this industry. So you're definitely doing the thing. And I know she's going to follow in your footsteps and continue to love on you.
Yes, thank you. Like I said, my godmother showed me how to be a woman. And I just take some of the things that she has done for me when we were growing up and instill those things into my daughter. I keep it 100% with her, because if I don't, guess who will? The streets. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. You know what I mean? I teach her how to be a woman. I teach her how to be an entrepreneur. You guys know she's a professional model. So I taught her how to find her own jobs without an agent. And I told her, I was like, in the negotiation process, if you feel like they're giving you too much pushback for your negotiations, send them to me. So we're truly a duo, you know what I mean? So thank you guys so much for that. And shout out to all the mothers out there.
Well, I'm not going to let you slide either, because sometimes when you talk about yourself, it's hard to give yourself credit because you're so busy doing the work and you don't really see how far you've come. But what I will say, Sarina, is you are the epitome of an example of, if mommy can do it, you can do it too. And I just appreciate you being that example and leaving those breadcrumbs of success for your daughter to be able to follow, because we all are going to get called home one day, right? So if God ever called you home, she wouldn't be lost based off of the navigation system and the coordinates you left behind for her to follow to become everything that she needs to become. So I want to give you your flowers and your roses for just being you and continually searching to be the best version of yourself.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah. And so take off my glasses for my mama. And one last thing. I also want to thank you for shouting out your foster parents, because everybody don't have their parents. And some people did grow up in foster homes, and they received the love that you received. And so I think it's special that you're able to tap into that community. It's special that you're able to share that positive message to anyone who's in that situation, so they can still have the same type of love and experience, or just be appreciative the way you are, even just talking about that and being able to shout that out, especially on a platform like this. So kudos to you for talking about, how you grew up and being vulnerable enough to share that with not just me and Gentel, but the whole wide world, because other people can relate to what you've been through, right?
I appreciate
Um, Shout out to you, Mom. I love you. No cap, we done had our rough times. And you went from being my hero to my fallen hero to everything that I've always needed. And I think the biggest thing that I had to understand as a man growing up is asking you what you've been through. See, as a kid, sometimes you only look at life from your perspective because that's all you know as a kid, right? But I think sometimes we forget that our parents were kids too at one point in time. And our parents have their own flaws. And my mom had 3 kids by the time she was 21. And I had to sit there and I had to ask myself, if I was in her position, what type of parent would I have been? How would I have been able to handle that situation? So I want to tell you, Mom, I apologize for any time that I was hard-headed, that I didn't listen, that I didn't understand you, that I was just blinded by my perspective. And I appreciate the patience that you had with me, because it allowed me to become the man that I am today. All 3 of your children are doing well. We're all successful. And you did that by yourself. You figured it out, and you're still figuring it out. Even though you had flaws on the way of parenting, there is no such thing as a perfect parent. And I think a lot of times, if we take the time to get to know what our parents have been through, it will allow us also to be better people, because we'll know how to handle our own demons, or we'll have a better understanding of what they've been through. And we just won't expect patience from our parents, but we'll be able to give our parents the same type of patience and love. So I just want to thank you for being the universal portal that got me here. I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you coming to save me when I was wrongfully assaulted by the police. I appreciate you just being there and holding me, even when the world rejected me. You held me, you loved me, you picked me up, and you will always be the hero in my life. So I just want to tell you I love you. And shout out to all the beautiful queens out there in the world. I know sometimes as men, the bottom line, we just have to do better. Bottom line, we have to do better, because we wouldn't be here without you guys. So there are things as men that we have to be accountable for, loving, protecting, and just being a better person when it comes to us as men. So that way we can love on our women, so that way they can be the feminine version of themselves instead of them being robbed of their femininity.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Before we move on, I do want to clarify, I was not in foster care. My adopted mom was actually my godmom. We actually met in church, and she saw me grow up, right? And she became my godmom because me and her daughter, which is now my god sister, we always was together. And so when shit hit the fan, she told my biological mom, "Give me her," and that's how it happened.
I think that's dope that you shared that, right? Because when my mom was in the military, she had left us, and my mom's mother died when she was 11, right? Mm. And so basically my grandmother, who was really my auntie, got promoted to grandma because I didn't have one. And my grandma helped raise us when my mom couldn't be around, when she was serving in the army. And then when my mom was able to, do what she needed to do so we can come to Germany with her, my grandmother helped raise us and my uncle helped raise us. So I just want to shout out to just women, period, because, you guys are on the front lines when we go through something. If a man gets gunned down by the police, a Black man gets gunned down by the police, it is Black women and it is women that stand up for us, period. And all I'm saying is, We need to make sure that if there's a Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland situation, that we show up for y'all the same way y'all show up for us. We owe that to y'all, and we love y'all. So shout out to every woman out there. We love y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, shout out to all the moms, all the women, and keep on doing y'all's thing. So the next topic that we do have is a teacher who is under investigation. There was a lot of speculation that he got fired, but he didn't. He's under investigation. Basically, what happened was he does a lot of TikTok videos, and one TikTok video that went viral was from his classroom. It was probably like 10 minutes before the bell was going to let the students out, and he had the female girl students in the class take out his braids. And he was getting a lot of backlash after he uploaded it because people were like, that's inappropriate. Those are young girls, touching in a grown man's head and all this kind of stuff. Some people did support it, but in my opinion, and I'm not saying all men are predators when it comes to these type of things, it really could be very innocent. So I'm not going to put too much judgment on him because we really don't know. But hopefully this is a lesson learned for him. But just, some things just shouldn't be done. I don't think that he should have had those kids take out his hair. I do feel like it was inappropriate, and hopefully this will be a lesson learned. And, hopefully it won't happen again. And hopefully we won't hear any other, wild things coming out of the story. So, yeah, I know he was pretty emotional talking about it. I saw a video where he was crying, just saying like there's still people in the world, which was really, I really felt for him. I was like, he really could be like very like innocent because he has a bunch of TikTok videos. So he could just be like, for the kids, for the people. But he just got caught up like, in viral moments. And that just wasn't a good viral moment for him.
I'll say that I hope he learned his lesson. I don't think he should be fired from it if there wasn't nothing that happened past, his hair being taken down. I know they got to go through the history of it and everything else. I do feel as a man that he shouldn't have had children playing in his hair. Even though it could have been innocent, these are still young teens. I mean, I remember being a teen and looking at my teacher and be like, damn, my teacher fine, or having a crush on my teacher. You feel me? So not saying that he would have been inappropriate, but you don't know the young minds of how the students felt about him. So in order to keep yourself out of those situations, I think it was a great learning lesson for him. I think that he should be able to keep his job if there isn't anything past this, because like I said, we don't know the history of it. If this is the only incident, I don't think he should have lost his job. I think the backlash from the comment section, from it being talked about and from it going viral is a good lesson, right? For the young man and for him to know that he shouldn't cross those lines. But there has to be a boundary when it comes to someone who's in authority and kids. There has to be some type of boundary. And I feel like that he crossed those boundaries, even though he did it online where everyone could see. He could see that no one was being violated. There was no sexual comments or anything like that. Just a little CYA, because he didn't have to make that public. So from his perspective, he didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong. But by nature, I feel like that was wrong. You shouldn't have little girls playing in your hair because you don't know how the little girls might feel about you. Now, they have another example of this, but it's totally different. It's when Allen Iverson was at the game and his mom was actually braiding his hair. Well, that's his mom. She's grown. That's not the same thing, because I've seen people try to compare and contrast Allen Iverson's mom braiding his hair during the game and the girls taking his hair down. But these are young minds. You know what I mean? And, we already have enough going on in the world with supposedly elites or celebrities taking advantage of girls underage because they're so impressionable. That is enough for you to draw the line to say, hey, if I know I got to get my hair done, or if I know I need this done, blah, 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 then you should have scheduled someone of age to go ahead and make sure you can do that so you can get to your appointment on time. Or if you get to your appointment, you just might have to pay that extra fee of being late and saying, hey, I know I'm late. Let me bless you. Let me give you this extra money. But I don't think that you should involve children in that. And it's kind of like how I feel like when you go on YouTube and you see adults wearing kid cartoon costumes and they're doing sexual things or whatever else, it's crossing the line. So you got to have some type of boundary. You got to have some type of boundary. And I feel like the brother just, was innocent, but he crossed the boundaries, and I pray that he learned his lesson from that.
Yeah, I agree. It's two things I want to touch bases on with this situation. First of all, when I grew up in school, we had the old heads. You know what I'm saying? Now, this generation, it's like you're hiring college students straight out of college. And to put them in high school, that's a fine line. You know what I'm saying? Especially like you have 20-something-year-olds in high school teaching 12th graders, 11th graders. Like, come on now. I feel like for me, it's a systematic issue there. Whatever system they had before when I grew up, they need to bring that back. It's too many young people in teaching in high school. I think they should teach maybe middle school and elementary school. And once you get a certain age, not saying it's going to be discriminatory, but cancel culture, they discriminate because of my age or whatever. It has to be some type of cutoff. That's just my point of view.
Some type of boundary.
Some type of boundary. Now, the second thing is, okay, he's not the only teacher that has a TikTok that shows students and things like that. My thing is, when are y'all teaching? You know what I mean? Like, when are y'all teaching? I understand you're trying to have, a good time with the students. You're building this bond. I love it. You're showing that you're a real person outside of being a teacher. I love that. But was this cosmetology class? Why are the students taking your hair out? Like King said, you could have paid somebody else of age to do that. Or you could have been taking it out while you in class. You have 6 periods. You got 6 periods. You could have been like, okay, class, if you that cool, okay, class, today we're going to be doing X, Y, Z. You taking your hair out while you teaching. I saw one of my homeboys. He's a comedian. His name is A-Train, and he posted, I think it was about four videos of certain teachers that allowed students to take out their hair. I think it was two men, which is one of the men's was the guy, and then it was 2 females. And the females had both girls and boys taking their hair out. So his post was, do you guys have an issue with this? Is there anything wrong? So some of the people was like, well, the guy shouldn't let the girls touch his hair because it just don't look right. But when it came to the female, they didn't really see a lot of issues with that. But my thing is, it's an issue across the board because, number one, they're still kids. Number two, they are not your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if one of the parents saw that on TikTok?
School.
And you're in school. What if
no parent gave consent to that? Right. And my other thing with that, Sarina, I didn't mean to cut you off, but where is the boundary and the thin line of someone being the authoritative and the person being the student? Because you're allowing them to call you bestie. You're blending the lines. It's too close. I understand that you're a good teacher. You're doing a great job. Your students love you, right? Professionally as a teacher. So there has to be a line where your students can't call you bestie. They're not your friends.
Right. And they're texting. And that's what I'm saying. You're too young to be a high school teacher. Yeah, you're too young to be a high school teacher.
Yeah.
That's why
you're blurring the lines. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you see a lot of these teachers that look young having sexual allegations against them. Some of them get arrested, because they mind it's not mature enough. Clearly, it's not mature enough because we saw what we saw. Yeah. Because a grown man would not allow that to happen. Period.
You know, it's funny, right? I went to New York Film Academy and I went to go check out a movie. You know, Gentel, where the movie is, where we go check out movies at school, right? So when I went to the library, I said, "Good morning, gorgeous. How are you doing today? Can I check out this movie for, class?" The lady was like 65, 70 years old. She said, "Excuse me? What did you say to me?" Now, where I come from, I'm just being polite. I said, "Good morning, gorgeous. I'm here to check out a movie so I can do my homework." Do you know that she reported me for sexual harassment for saying good morning, gorgeous?
See?
See, the reason why I'm telling that story is because you never know how someone else is going to take what's happening. Yes, the teacher could have been cool, but you don't know if those little girls were fantasizing about you, about touching you, about taking your hair down. You could have been professional all you wanted to be. But we know when we're 16, 17, our hormones are going crazy and everything else. You don't know how they felt about you. You're texting them, you're calling them bestie. It's crazy. And not to bring up Drake, but to bring up Drake. The same thing when you're texting, supposedly texting 13-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls, 15-year-old girls. "Hey, I miss you. I miss you too." What? You're grown as hell. Why are you telling a little girl you missed them? You don't know how they're going to take that. So I think that situation, I hope you've learned a valuable lesson, fam. And I don't care whether it's young girls taking down another girls. You know, girls like girls too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That happens as well, right?
Yep.
So we can't play well, he's a man and this girl's taken out. No, it's the fact that you're in authoritative position and you need to have that authority, and it has to be a separation. Because if it all blurs the lines, then you're going to wind up with a whole bunch of mess because there's no boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just say my advice, continue to be a good teacher.
Yep.
Continue to have a bond with your student, but don't have any physical contact. Period. Because
you can be a good teacher and be professional.
Yeah, if it was my child, I would have went to the principal about that.
That's a good question. If that was your baby in the video, Sarina, what would you have done?
I would have been pissed.
Yeah. You saw Gentel. She was like, I would have been pissed.
If you didn't know, imagine being at work, Sarina, imagine being at work and, we all scroll and you see a video while you're scrolling of your daughter taking out a teacher's braids. What would you have thought? And what would have been your initial reaction?
My initial reaction, first of all, I would have called, because at that time, I'd probably be at home when I saw it, right? So I would have called her in there. What the hell are you taking out a grown man hair for? What is going on? That would be the conversation, right?
Mm.
And then the next day, when I drop her off to school, I'm dropping myself off to the principal office. What the hell is this?
Okay, so my question is, as a parent, seeing your daughter take out another man's hair, taking up braids out of his head, what would your initial thought have been as a parent?
My initial thought would have been, what the fuck is this? That's some pedophile type stuff.
That's what I'm getting to.
Right.
That's what I'm getting to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, being that I'm an evolved parent and I know all of my daughter's teachers growing up, I know I would have knew what type of teacher he was, as far as like, oh, all the students like him. But still, me, that would still have crossed the line. And I still would have been pissed. I don't care how good of a teacher you are, how many students like you, how popular you are in the campus as the #1 teacher of the year. Why is my daughter touching you? Why?
It has to be boundaries. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So
for sure. You know who else needs some boundaries, y'all?
Who?
Clay from Love is Blind. Oh my God. Opened up Instagram today, TikTok today. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was it, and they could be trolling us. But Clay showed the internet that he is messing with Selena Powell. And for those who don't know who Selena Powell is, she has basically messed with every famous rapper, baller in the industry. Like, she has been, I'm not trying to like down her or anything of who she is, but I mean, she's basically been ran through. Like, no shade. It's just, that's what the facts are. So to leave AD at the altar and you're not ready for a relationship, to go to Selena Powell, I mean, AD, you definitely dodged a bullet for sure. And, he's basically embarrassing himself, because what the heck, Clay? Like, we know, like, like I said, this is all on the internet. This is all on TV. We know, Clay, your dad cheated on your mom. You don't really have to show that you're going to go further than what your dad did, because like now you're doing a lot.
Wow.
First and foremost, I know you said that, you know, Selena been ran through all this stuff like that. But my question is, has she been ran through, or was she like in relationships with these people?
See, I need to do more of my facts, but I will say that it does seem like I don't want to speak on it too much because I really don't know.
Yeah.
But from what the streets are telling me, from what I've seen, like the recent blogs coming out today, everybody is saying the same thing. I'll let you and King conversate, and I'm gonna jump back in. Let me just do a little research. I'm gonna bring the facts in just a second.
All right. The reason why that is because, you know, just like what's her name, Lori Harvey, people say she's ran through or whatever. But if you think about it, every person that Lori been with, she was in a relationship with. You understand? And it's okay if a relationship don't work and you go and find somebody else that you think treats you better, right? So go ahead.
She's famous for claiming Offset and got her pregnant while he was with Cardi B.
Oh, I don't like her. Because Cardi my girl.
She also allegedly linked with other stars like Young Thug, Snoop Dogg, who we know has been married for years, probably longer than, you know, Aaron Carter. But yeah, it looks like she's exclusively going with Clay. But I mean, this is all allegedly. If she was messing with Snoop Dogg, then she is breaking up homes.
Well, I tried to help you, girl, because your name is.
Wait. She ain't breaking up no home because it's on the other person to respect the vows, not her.
Correct. Well, first of all,
she knows that they're in a relation in the marriage.
Okay, but that person has to say yes. That person has to be cool with it. The person that's married has to be okay with the situation.
It's on both parties.
It's on both parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let the married person get away with, well, oh, she just was a black widow or succubus. You know what I mean? She had that black snake moan or whatever, you know. And you remember the Black Snake Moan movie with Samuel Jackson? I'll say this, Brother Clay. You have the right to be with whoever you want to be with. I personally thought during the show that you kept telling AD that you didn't want to get married. Now, rumor has it, after the show, he said he realized he made a mistake and that he wanted to get back with AD, and AD did not want him anymore, and that she had moved on. So there's nothing wrong with him moving on, right? So I'll say it from that standpoint. And I agree with Sarina. Just because you get in a relationship don't work out doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to move on to the next person. You know, he moved on to the next person. And guess what? You reap what you sow. So if you purposely play with AD and you purposely played in her face, then you reap what you sow, because someone's going to treat you the same way and you can't be mad about it because that's how you out there doing people. But at the same time, if you're honest saying, hey, I'm not ready to get married yet, you know, I got a lot of issues that I'm still working through, which he continuously said. He said, hey, do we have to do it at this deadline? And she was like, well, if we don't do it at the deadline, it's over with. That's the ultimatum. Then he made the choice of saying no. So we knew once you get to the altar that you have a choice. Are you going to do it? Or are you not going to do it? He chose not to do it. Now, whoever he chooses to mess around with, sleep around with, I don't care, not my business. But what I will say is this. You got the right to be with whoever you want to be with. And karma's a bitch and it will catch up to you if you are here playing in people's face.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you do have a right to be who you want to be with. I think it just was shocked that that's how it went. And, you know, sometimes that's in the bingo card. But they were saying on TMZ that she is known for exposing like famous celebrities after the sexual encounters.
Well, guess what? Karma's a bitch. And it's because, you know, if it comes back on Clay, and here's the thing, right? Let's say AD really wanted to marry this man. Yo, the fact that he didn't marry you, he actually did you a favor.
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise. If you were really pure-hearted saying, hey, this is the man that I want to be my husband, blah, 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 it's cool that you feel that way. But there's a post going around, I forgot who did it, and it talks about like the word like and how like can get you messed up. Like can get you pregnant. Like can get you divorced. Like can put you in bad situations. Like can get you being abused by someone. Just because you like something don't mean you got to have something, right? And the example they use is you go in the mall. You might like a shirt, but that doesn't mean you buy everything that you like. You feel me? So she might have liked Clay, but the fact that she's not with him could be the biggest blessing. Because I know sometimes I've asked God for stuff and I thank God that I didn't get what I asked for. So it could be a blessing for her that they're not together, because what if they did get married and then he still goes messing with the same chick while they're married?
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how it all turns out. Not trying to down nobody, but I'm just giving you guys my opinions off of what is on the internet. So
yeah, and what Gentel was saying was allegedly she likes to sleep around. Allegedly
per TMZ.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break and give a shout out to our proud sponsors, 24/7 Live Culture. And we are back from commercial break. So Keon Henderson and Shawnee Henderson, they are both back in the media blogs. Keon is back in the media blogs because he actually was telling his whole church on stage, the people who were on stage, like the choir, to, hush again during worship. He wasn't as intense as he was telling the other girl to silence. I don't understand why he keeps telling them to hush. I feel like if they're
in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus,
like, because they were really worshiping. Now they were worshiping. I watched that video. And they were really like shouting and stuff, and that was like everybody. I'm like, did everybody come on stage like before Sunday service and be like, just continue to worship when he tells us to hush? That's what it looked like. But I thought that was, I don't know. I just think he should just let them worship.
Did they hush when he said it?
No, they kept on.
See, now that's the Holy Ghost. See, you remember last week I said when he told that lady to be quiet, she immediately hushed. That was a demon that he was talking to. I'm telling you, because she shut up. Now, the choir, they didn't stop. They kept praising God and doing everything that the Lord and the Holy Spirit was running through them, right? Now, at that point, I feel like he had a spirit on him. That spirit that was on that other lady jumped on him, and he said something this Sunday. So he was wrong for that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you got to be bad when things happen like that. You know what I'm saying? I think because he went on Tamara Hall's show, you know what I mean? And he expressed, oh, this has been 4 years in the making. This young lady has been interrupting my service, so forth and so forth. And I kind of felt like she was a distraction in the church. But you guys, you two did have a good point. If it was a distraction all the time, why put her on that platform on stage? So I get that, right? So my thing is, you go on Tamara Hall and you got all these people on social media agreeing with you, which I am one in agreement. You know, if she's a distraction, yeah, she needs to shut her mouth, period, right? But I feel like being that a lot of people were supporting him, it boosted his ego, right? So you come to church on Sunday and you're going to tell your whole choir to shut up? Now, Pastor Keon, I was with you, dog. But you doing a little bit too much now. So that's my opinion.
Both of y'all hush in the name of Jesus.
I'm not Jesus.
Oh. Hey, sis. Do you know in the comment section they said that he was actually trying to use reverse psychology to hype them up?
I'm sorry, what?
That he was trying to use reverse psychology to tell them it's okay to keep going.
By saying hush? It's too much. It's too much.
So you mean to tell me he's trying to come to up by saying I was using reverse psychology to tell y'all to hush, which made the Holy Spirit get into you even more to make you start bouncing around. My light just went out. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were saying in the comment section. Listen, I only want to hear God's voice.
Sure.
Well, then you need to do your Sunday service, and no shade, do it through Zoom. Or
Oh, you know.
so you don't have to hear the Holy Spirit requirement.
Everybody mute.
Right.
Everybody mute.
He better go back to COVID days.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
His
type of offer is going to be a little low. I was on his side.
I ain't gonna lie. This must be the new Bible. This must be the 2024 Bible. Because where the verse at? I just need to understand. Is it coming from the book of Do the Right Thing, chapter 12, verse 13?
No, it's coming from Galatians 12, verse 24.
Something.
Galatians.
Yeah, I don't know. Waiting to exhale, the book of relaxation. I'm not sure. I don't get it. I'm not understanding why one person wants so much control.
Mm. Yeah, because it's weird. I mean, even I know his wife Shawnee Henderson, she's controlling the narrative right now after her divorce with Shaq. Basically, she wrote a book, and in her new memoir, she said, "I don't know if I was ever really in love with the man." Now, a lot of people were like, "How can you say you were never in love with the man, but you stayed with the man?" and all this kind of stuff. But she said she didn't mean it that way. But just from the outside looking in, it looks like, basically she never loved him, or maybe she fell out of love with him. Maybe she could have said that. She did say my book is my truth. And when I was talking to my friend yesterday, I was like developing an opinion and a comment from content with no context. She said there's no context to just that one quote that I said. And I think that sadly, people are taking my words out of context. I'm not a word girl. I'm a character girl. And since I've left the marriage of Jaquel, my character has spoken for itself. And
okay. So what did she mean? Did she ever say what she meant?
Let's see. Well, she was just saying she didn't mean it like that. She didn't I don't think she went into details. I just know Shaq responded and said, "I understand. I wouldn't have been in love with me neither. Wishing you all the best." Here it is. She said, "Looking back, I don't know that I was ever really in love with the man, but I was in love with the idea of being married to the man I had a family with. I was in love with the idea of building a life together. I truly did enjoy spending time with him. NBA road trips gave me a chance to be with my husband and experience the NBA life for a little while."
Sarina, what you think? Because you have more experience.
You were an NFL wife, so you can probably attest to this.
Help us out. Give us some understanding.
First of all, I was with you until she mentioned the NBA. Right? Because if you love the man, you love the man, right? I know sometimes people do get into marriages with athletes because of the lifestyle, having babies so they can have the money and all this stuff like that. I wasn't like that. If I was like that, I would have had about 5 kids and never worked, never did what I'm doing right now that I love, But a lot of people will stay in marriages and in relationships even if they're abused, all for the sake of being with the lifestyle, the money, and all of that. I will say, if she would have said, yes, I was in love with Shaq at one point in my life, but I felt out of love. That's a whole different part of the context. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I was married, when we were dating, I felt in love with him, right? I felt in love with the person that he showed me, the representative. As we got married, the representative started fading and the real him came out. So I felt out of love. So at the end of our, how can I say this? When shit started hitting the fan, right? And we're going through the divorce, the separation period. I was already out of love with this dude for 2 years, but I still was there because I wanted to honor my vows. We were in church, the church be like, oh, it's just the devil, this, that, and the third. And they try to keep you together, rightfully so, because that's something that the word talks about. You know, when you're married, the devil is going to try to break up
attack your marriage.
attack your marriage, you know, because it's a kingdom thing, right? And this is on the spiritual side. But at the end of the day, I understand that. At the same time, I also understand, yes, a person can claim Christian, can claim to be a man of God, but they can be the devil's spawn behind closed doors. You understand? And I think what the church needs to do is be 100% authentic when it comes to domestic violence in relationships in the church. You understand? So the reason why I'm saying that is because I've seen multiple times where, because, you know, my ex-husband, not only was it a player, he was also an evangelist in the church, right? So I was in a pastoral circle. So I understand Sharrie fully as an athlete wife and also as somebody that's in the pastoral circle. So I saw where you had women that was old enough to be my mother come to me and say, hey, sis, can you just pray for me? My husband just knocked me upside the head and he's in the pulpit. And you got to sit on the front row, look cute, smile, put on a face for everybody. That's no view. And you have leaders that don't say not one thing to these people, they don't sit them down, none of that. So I know I kind of drifted off a little bit, but going back to the topic, it is very is very likely that she meant to say, you know, she fell out of love with him. And I totally agree with that. And that's why I feel like that's why Shaq came back and said, he know what she's talking about. She didn't have to say it in content for him to understand. That's why he said, you know, I would have fell out of love with me too. Because he put that girl through the ringer. Mm-hmm. And even her through the ringer, guess what? She still stayed. She still tried to honor her vows. She still tried to keep her family together. Chance after chance that she gave him, and he still was doing her wrong. So that's just my take. I hope I made sense with what I was saying. So
I think you did. And I think you made it very clear here. At the end of the day, it don't matter if we understand. Because it wasn't our relationship. It was enough for Shaq to understand. And that's what's important because it was their relationship. We're just on the outside looking in with an opinion about some stuff that we never experienced because it wasn't our relationship. So the fact that Shaq was man enough not to fall in the trap of toxicity, but to own his own mess because he knows exactly what he did to her. He knows how many times she cried, how frustrated she was, and everything else. He knows the inside out of that relationship. For him to respond the way he did should be enough to earn everybody else's silence.
Absolutely. I agree.
That's how I feel about it. So I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to put my 2 cents in on it. What I'm going to say is the most important who understood was Shaq. And not just Shaq, but their children. And as long as they understand and the family understands, it don't matter who else understands.
Yeah.
And so I commend Shaq for being man enough to own whatever happened in the relationship and to respond in love and respect. And I feel like that's what being a man is about. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes, whatever that was. I'm just saying I commend Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day gotta end. So what's under, you know, they understand each other, like you said, King, and you know, we'll leave it at that. The next thing on our topic list is good people get tired too. And I feel like sometimes when people are so good to other people and the good people pull back their energy, not because it's them, it's just we're tired. They need a break. They just need to like mentally like decompress. It's nothing against another person. Just like good people really get tired. I feel like sometimes people can get offensive about that, or sometimes check on those good people who you see like always fueling you energy, because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, because really they could be facing the hardest demon of their life at that time, and you really don't know what to come through. So just know good people get tired too, and just because it seems like peaches and ice cream is not always like that.
You on fire right now, Gentel. Gone.
Well, that's all I got to say for right now.
Good. Okay.
I will agree. I feel like the problem with people who are good people is they know how to be good to everybody else, but they don't know how to be good to themselves. And I feel like they pour everything in their cup into someone else, and then they're empty, and then they're frustrated. Or it's, if I treat you this way, why won't you treat me back this way? I feel like what good people don't understand, or we fall short in, because we're so locked in on being good, I feel like our blind spot is, and I said I feel like, because it's me too, I feel like the blind spot is we forget that we train a person how to treat us. We train a person how to treat us based off of what we say yes and no to. Number one. And I think that good people don't understand the power of their no. Number two, because when you say no to someone else, you're actually saying yes to yourself. You could be the good person and want to do it because, oh, this is the right thing, but you really don't want to do it. And then after it's done, when it's not appreciated, you're so frustrated that the person didn't even appreciate it. And now because they didn't appreciate it, now you feel some type of way. And now you let other people rob you of your energy. And it's like, well, shoot, you know what? I'm tired of being good. F it. And that's how it turns into hurt people hurt people. Now, I do think Gentel touched on something powerful when she said, just because you see somebody smiling don't mean you shouldn't check up on them. A lot of times the person who's always checking up on everyone else has nobody checking up on them. And I think that's something that's being missed when it comes to mental health, because you see a lot of good people take their own life. And then people are surprised, or they wonder why or what happened, right? And I don't care what your financial status is. You have someone like a Justin Bieber who just came out with that new song. And he talks about how everyone's seen the fame, everybody's seen the money, but nobody's seen that he felt like he was alone. Nobody knew what he'd been through. Nobody knew that he was ready to take his life. Nobody knew that suicide was on his mind, because all you hear is the crowd. You see the finish line, but you don't understand the race. So I would challenge everybody, the same way you want someone to check up on you, I challenge you to check up on other people the same way you want it, because you don't know what they're going through. Because there could be a lot of pain. A lot of times people are smiling because they don't want to deal with the pain. A lot of times a smile is a mask, so that way they don't have to deal with what they're going through. A lot of times people go out their way to help somebody else so they don't have to deal with their own demons. You know what I mean? A lot of times people will, hey, I'll come through, I'll come over, I'll do that, because they don't know how to be still with themselves. So they go the extra mile. And then when it's not returned, it's hurtful. It's like me pulling a rubber band back all the way back here because I want to help everybody else. And everybody else is the rubber band that I'm pulling back. And then when I let it go, when it's not returned and it slaps me back, the pain is so much more. The impact is so much more. So just check up on people. Check on people, because mental health is important. Go ahead, Sarina.
Yeah, both of you guys touched on so many great topics. I want to put this disclaimer out because the situation just happened with me. And I just want people to know, that person specifically, this was not my topic of choice. It was, so this segment is not about you at all. But
no, I put the topic in for today.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about it, let's get into it. A lot of times, people with big hearts like myself, King, Gentel, we give so much of ourselves to people. Sometimes we put down things that we want to pursue to help other people, because we see so much in you, right? And when we see the greatness in you, we want to help you elevate. We want to put you in those rooms. We want to make sure that nobody is doing you any kind of way in the industry or your business. We want to make sure that you're in the right predicament at the right time, right? When it comes to people that just, need encouragement. We're there. We're pouring in until we're empty, right? And it's just crazy because we do all of this stuff. We give you we give you 210% of ourselves just to be hurt by the same person that we poured 210% into.
Yep.
That's the hurtful part. There's no thank you. I helped so many people. It's people that I helped that I will be in the same room with them and they would not acknowledge me. I didn't do anything. We didn't leave on bad terms. It's one of those things where, oh, I feel like I arrived and you still down here. I've never been down there. That's the
talk about it.
You know, number two, just how I helped you get in that room to elevate, God can snatch all of that from you.
Talk about it.
You know, so at the end of the day, I'm the type of person, and it's just me. If I put somebody on, or somebody put me on, let's put it like this. If somebody put me on, right? If Gentel King put me on and I'm making this amount of money, guess what? I'm going to shoot my people some money. I'm going to say, how can I help you? How can I help you benefit from how you elevated me? Because at the end of the day, I feel like when we work together, we're going to be able to be a force to be reckoned with whatever we do. But a lot of people don't understand that. They want to step on people's back. They want to climb on their head. They want to push you down just so they can elevate, you know. And then when you catch on that they acting strange or they move in a certain type of way and you catch on to that and be like, okay, I want to separate myself from that before I get too far. And I get taken advantage of 110%. Now you acting funny.
Yeah.
Now you acting funny because you found that person out. You don't want to be a victim of, you know, being taken advantage of. So now you're moving different. But it's okay. That's just how people are wired. And at the end of the day, guess what? Every seed that you've sown into that person's life, God is going to give you a harvest and you're going to reap 10 times more than that. I am living proof. Like, I don't know. I can't really say a lot, but
facts.
Yeah, because I don't want to sound like I'm just like bragging or anything. But if you look at my life and just the stuff that I post is just a glimpse of
really be looking out for other people though, like Sarina, like you be looking out, you be making sure other people are good. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen you do it with multiple people, like even people you don't even know, like you still look out, like you are a good person. I mean, we all have our, you know, rough on the edges, but at the end of the day, like you have the sweetest, purest heart and you have good intentions for other people. So I believe you, if someone is doing something like shady towards you, they're probably really doing some shady stuff.
Yeah.
And draining your energy.
Yeah, it's draining your energy. And it's just crazy because you try to refocus, right? And every time I get hurt, and I think I did a post a couple days ago, and in the post, it says something along the lines, even when I got my heart broken over and over again, I still show love. You know why? Because that's how God made me. And that shit hurts. It hurts so bad. But that's who I am.
Continues to bless you because you still show love in the midst of being put down, being let down, and the blessings will come 10 times even more because you stand 10 toes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw a meme that I adapted through Sharrie. You know, we talked about Ocho and Sharrie last segment. She posted something that says, I think it was her. It was the meme that says, "Sis, they're no longer your assignment." And wow,
gotta let it go. And you know, no longer your assignment.
Send me that. I need to repost that. Send me that. That's fire.
I will. Yeah, they're no longer your assignment. And sometimes we feel like we meet somebody, right? Just like you said, Gentel, I can barely know this person. But if I see a light in you, I know that God put me in your life for a reason. So I'm automatically going to be like, how can I add value to you? How can I be an asset?
Yeah.
You know.
So.
It's funny because we got to understand that it's okay to be good to everybody else, but you can't forget how to be good to yourself. It's okay to love somebody else, but You gotta love you first, right? And we gotta determine people like this, I believe. 3 things: reason, season, lifetime. And the reason why I say that is because when you understand the reason why you're encountering a person, is this person just here for whatever reason? Is it just for a season? Or is this person supposed to be here for a lifetime? Because everybody's not a lifetime. Everybody's not going to be in your life for a whole season. You might meet one person in one encounter and it just changed everything. And that's the only time you meet the person. So you got to determine whether it's a reason, season, or a lifetime. And at the same time, when I'm saying that, because Sarina talked about sowing seeds, if you're always watering everyone else's seed and you see that person growing to its fullest potential, who's watering you? And then you're upset when you see someone else's growth, but then you're wondering why there's no growth for you. See, we got to be able to water yourself and allow other people to get the overflow. So that way your cup is always full. There's nothing wrong with being a good person. There's nothing wrong with loving. There's nothing wrong with, you know what, sometimes you're going to get hurt. But I love what Sarina talked about. You can't let that change your character. You can't let that change who you are, how you are. Because the minute that it changes you, you can't blame the other person. You have to blame you because you decided to change. You decided to make that choice with your free will. Because the truth is, you can still be who you are. You just need to be careful with who you are and who you're around. Because for me, the Bible says, protect your heart with all due diligence, which means you can't give your heart to everybody. You got to protect yourself. You got to love yourself enough to protect yourself. You got to love yourself enough to grow. And yes, guess what? Whoever it is, yo, we got feelings too. It's not only just your feelings on the table. So if you're overly being in a situation where someone is only talking about their feelings and they have no concern for yours, my acting teacher told me, learn how to walk away from conversations or things that don't serve you, because that's love. That's self-love. When you're able to walk away from things that don't serve you, that's just draining your energy. If you choose to let someone just drain your energy, or you choose to let someone be a succubus, or just drain you, then you're allowing that to happen. But the minute you choose you and you start walking away from things that don't serve you, you'll be in a better place for yourself.
Yeah, no facts. Well, for our last topic of today, I don't have really good news. It's actually coming out. Oh, sorry.
Rushing really quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Commercial break. Now, ladies, look at your man. Now look at me. Now look back at your man. Your man could be me if he was wearing Old Spice deodorant.
Okay, commercial. That was a commercial.
Look up, look down. I'm on a boat. The boat is now diamonds.
I'm weak. That was a good voiceover, though.
Oh, your boy. I did the voiceover for Bank of America. I was the actor, and I did the voiceover for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, we outside.
We outside tonight.
Speaking of being outside, I'm out here in Frisco, right by Dallas.
You hitting the streets?
Nah, I got to work the Country Music Awards tomorrow, so I'm gonna be well rested.
Oh, okay.
Knock out this job, do what I need to do for the Country Music Awards show, and get back home. Let me tell you something. Dorothy said it right. There's no place like home.
Facts.
Did y'all see the bed behind me? It's comfortable, but it's nothing like your own bed. Nothing.
I believe it. Okay, here we go, y'all. Okay, so this last topic that we have isn't great news. It's coming out of Florida. A U.S. Airman by the name of Roger Fortson was gunned down in his apartment. It's sad because we literally killed our own. Not only did we kill our own, another Black man was gunned down by police. So basically, police officers went to his apartment, wrong apartment, an apartment he wasn't supposed to go to. He knocked on the door. The policeman, allegedly, he covered up the peephole, and he really wasn't announcing himself from the story that I got. And now it makes sense why Roger had a gun on him, because he was in the U.S., he was in the U.S. force. So he's probably used to kind of being armed. So he was just like, who is it? Who is it? He opened the door. Police saw the gun in poor Roger's hand and shot him up. And the police officers even said on tape that we shot him up. Like, they said it. It's really sad. I really just wish that this would stop happening. I don't understand why we don't take better protocol, because not trying to be racist, when a white person goes into a church and shoots up a bunch of people, they give them fast food at the end of the day. They don't gun him. Yeah, Burger King. So it's just like, when is it going to end? Let's do more research before we shoot up people, and let's just stop it. I know, King, you personally had encounter with law enforcement, so I know the story really hit home for you, because this could have like been you. You know what I'm saying? Like, God forbid, like, praise God it wasn't, but like literally, like, your story could have ended up like this. And it's just crazy how this continues to happen.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Sarina. I got to get my feelings in check. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, I want to say my thoughts and prayers are with that young man's family, his, military family as well. When I say military family, the people that he was under, his friends, his commanders, and all those people as well. Why? Why? That's all I can think about when I read the article. Why? And I come to the realization that a lot of these guys that go into the police force is a lot of people that have been bullied when they were in school, right? They go into the police force because they feel like, oh, I'm never going to get bullied again. I'm going to have power. And a lot of them go in there like that. A lot of them go in because they have a family history of being in the Ku Klux Klan. Let's call a spade. So a lot of them slide in because of that. But my thing is, when would the American government come together and say, we need to stop these senseless killings within the force? We need to come up with a way that we train these officers proper protocol. And if they do kill an innocent person, they get the death penalty, right? So for me,
that would stop death penalty. I'm not going to kill nobody.
Huh? Say it again?
I said that would honestly probably stop majority of it, because if you're telling me I'm getting the death penalty, why would I put, my life in jeopardy?
At the end of the day, say for instance, he go to jail for what he did, right? You're being arrested by your friends. Yeah, they might put you in solitary confinement, but you probably getting McDonald's every day. You're probably getting a cell phone to talk to your people because you're being locked up by your friends, right? Just like when the whole George Floyd thing happened. I went to the March on Washington in honor of him under the NFL Citizen Service as their PR and marketing personnel, right? So on a political side, I came up with a plan to go to the Senate and to Congress for a law to be passed that if a police officer kill an innocent person, whether they black, white, red, yellow, I don't care what color they are, a life for a life. A life for a life. But see, I can't do that. I can't just go to the Senate by myself. I need people behind me, But people are scared to say, oh, well, if we do that, then this is going to happen. No. They need consequences. They need consequences that they're going to fear. They don't fear getting locked up. Because even the guys that killed George Floyd, I honestly believe at some point they got slid out the jailhouse. This is just me thinking. I ain't saying it is true. They probably got slid out at the jailhouse, had a little freedom, and they slid them back in the morning time. That's just me. That's how I think. Because at the end of the day, why you keep doing this? And then you have people like Trump that says, oh, when I get into office, we're going to give our not armed forces, we're going to give our police officers the okay to lock up the criminals like they should. What does that mean? What are you trying to do? You already incited violence. You already incited the people to storm the Capitol. You told the Proud Boys to let loose pretty much. And you have a history of being a part of the KKK through your family lineage. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to bring the old Jim Crow back? And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to stand up to these politicians. And one thing I want to say to African Americans in general, when election time comes, yes, it's important to do the presidential election, but it's also important, it's equally or even most important to vote for whoever is getting in office at your hometown, your local government, because those are the people that's going to be changing laws for your day to day. And a lot of people be like, oh, get out there and vote, get out there and vote. Yeah, they tell our people that, but they don't educate them on that. They don't educate why. I'm telling you why. Y'all keep saying, oh, Duval County, we got all these shootings and blah, blah, blah. They don't do this, they don't do that. Vote local, because those are the things that's going to change what's going to happen in your city. So, again, my condolences to the family, and I don't know how to stop it. We can talk about this till we blue in the face, but we need to come up with a plan of action, and that's the only way it's gonna change something. Just like, and I'm gonna let you go in a few minutes, King, but it's just like when the Asians had their situation, right? And
Stop Asian hate.
Yeah, this was after the Black Lives Matter movement. Stop Asian hate, right? So they got a law passed, but we've been asking for equal justice for 200 plus years. And the Asians got their stuff. But then I was like, let me go look at this law. You know what they did to pacify us? They slid us in that law. They said Asian Americans and people of color. But why can't we have something separate though? How can we be protected from the people that we need to call for help? So that's all I have to say.
First of all, just rest in power and love to the young man who lost his life. You know, it's crazy because our situation is so similar, because it's crazy how me and this young man can put our life on the line for the country, but who puts their life on the line for us when we come back home? Like, think about that. We defend it. And then we come back and we still getting murdered by the same people that we're protecting. Mm-hmm. Ain't that crazy?
Yep.
And they say, you know, at the end of my film, I asked the question, I said, America, aren't you tired of seeing this? I put my life on the line for a country that doesn't love me back for the color of my skin. My question, America, is the flag a lie? Because the flag claims to represent freedom, liberty, and justice for all. It means all races. But does it? I'm more than 3/5. I'm more than just an amendment. And what I mean by that was because we are not in the original writings, because of how the world was set up when it came to slavery, you considered me an amendment. Well, what does that mean? Gentel, Sarina, can I come to y'all house and tell y'all what to do in your home?
Nope.
But if I come over and kick it and say, hey, can I use your bathroom? Hey, can I get something to eat? You might say, no problem, King. You can use my bathroom. Okay, you can get some food, right? So you made an amendment to your house rules to allow me to use your bathroom, to allow me to get some food. But the day that I piss you off is the day that I no longer have power, right? And so that's what I mean by when they changed it and we're no longer an amendment, because the amendments that they made for us, there's still loopholes in the amendment that leave us powerless. And that's why we're still in the same position. And for me, I have survivor's guilt because I don't have to be here. Why am I still here? So when I hear that someone else that looks like me loses their life, like, y'all don't understand the pain that I go through. And it's funny that we just had that segment about smiling, because a lot of people always see me smiling, but they really don't know how bad I'm actually really crying, you know, because I still have traumas and nightmares from the situations. And how are you supposed to heal when you see other people who look like you lose their life in the same manner that could have been yours.
Yeah.
And so for me, what is the solution? The solution is unity. But we can't have no unity if you don't know how to love yourself. And actually knowing how to respect the next person next to you. Like if you go in any state, can you tell me where Blacktown is? But you see all these other cultures with their own place, you know, Chinatown, etc., blah, blah, blah. But we have nothing. And I think that we just have to do a better job when it comes to us because laws are bought. I don't care what nobody says, laws are bought. And the fact that we don't have a seat at a table or we're not building our own table is where we're failing short. We have to build our own table. We have to come together. We have to protect each other. We have to love each other, or it's just going to be somebody else in our family tree. And so I'll leave us with this, right? And I want to leave us with this one word, and this one word is called price. There's a price being paid for us not being united and coming together. And the price is we're still stuck in the same damn position. But there's a price that comes with change. And the question is, are we willing to pay the price to get the changes we want to protect our children, protect ourselves? What price are we willing to pay to get the freedoms that we were already rightfully supposed to have? And if we can't come together and get on the same page or get close to the same page, or well, Sarina got an idea or Gentel got an idea, well, because their idea is not my idea, I got to talk bad about them. No, there's many ways to fight this. So I don't have to throw somebody else's idea under the bus just because it's not just like mine. I don't have to talk trash about Ice Cube because he came up with some type of plan. At least he came up with something. We have to come up with something. Something. Or we got to stop complaining that it's happening because now we're not willing to pay the price to do something about it. Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Well, he's light-skinned. He's not black enough.
Mm.
So now we're going to use colorism to keep us in the same chains. Like, we have to do something. We have to know our rights. So Sarina just talked about going to the courthouse, not just the presidential election, but going to the courthouse and getting us elected, putting us in positions. We have to put ourselves in position to either get a seat at the table or to create our own table. Because if we don't, then we need to stop complaining that we're being hunted down, because that's exactly what's happening. And I'll prove it to you with this one comment. When was the last time you saw a black officer kill a white person or a white child and say, I fear for my life, and get away with it? I'm done.
Yeah. We gotta, what are you guys willing to do to pay the price so we can change what's going on in this world? Think about that and see what foot forward you can put so we can come together. This has been another episode of Culture Minute. My condolences do go out to Roger's family. May he rest in peace. I am Gentel Sharrie.
I'm Sarina Renee.
When was the last time you seen black officers kill white children and say, I feared for my life and it was okay? I'm King Jaquel Martin.